Some people. Hey guys, how you guys doing?
I'm doing fine. How about you?
I'm doing all right.
Stuff, gang.
How about the rest of you guys? You guys are doing well?
Yeah, I'm doing good.
Good, good. Glad to hear it. So, what are your guys' thoughts on the background or anything I've said so far?
I think you're going to try to jump into a lake of fire if you don't believe in God.
Okay. Why? Which God? And what exactly is God? Can I ask you that too?
He's the father of Christ. He uh he created the earth and everything.
So you think that God is a being that created everything there is?
Yes.
Okay. And how do we know that such a being exists?
You read your Bible, didn't you?
Yeah, I've read the Bible.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, easy as that, buddy.
Well, I mean, I've read Harry Potter. I don't think Hogwarts is real.
Oh, come on, numbnuts.
Well, that's a
I've
system
I,
that.
I've
Let's
read
be
I've
serious
read
once in
Game
a
of
while.
Thrones. I don't think Westeros is real. Like
Yeah,
so
it's okay.
I've
Okay,
read
though.
the
We get it.
Odyssey, and I don't think that those deities are real. So there's lots of
Yeah,
things
well,
that are there.
the thing's
How
different
do
is
we
the
know they're
Bible
real?
is real. The Bible is real. Numbnuts.
Sure. How do we know that?
It's common sense. Numbnuts.
Okay. Can you actually give a valid reason instead of just saying "duh"?
I didn't say duh one time. Numbnuts.
Yeah, but
Yo,
that's basically
chill.
the vibe you're
Hey,
going for. So
hey,
again,
chill.
how do we know that the Bible is correspondent with reality?
Because
I mean, it's
I'll
common
tell
sense.
you why. Because you can see it right now. All the people that sin and do all these bad things like adultery, they get these unstable families and they end up being unsuccessful.
There are lots of successful people that come from divorced parents. What are you talking about?
And then even I don't even want to say it right, but same sex marriage and stuff like that. That's why God made HIV.
Can you show that to be true in any way? And if that were the case, then
You
why is
see
it?
it,
And
don't
if
you?
that were the case, then why do straight people also get it?
Because they're shooting their line out too much, and they mess with somebody that probably went both ways.
So this is a punishment from God to everybody, just like any other STD. It doesn't seem special anymore, and it doesn't
Bro,
seem to have the weight that you're
what are you
carrying.
even shouting about, bud? You don't even know what you're talking
No,
about.
this guy is saying that HIV is a punishment from God for homosexuality, and yet he cannot demonstrate that that is the case.
He's not wrong though.
So demonstrate that that's true.
You want me to go get HIV or what?
No, I want you to demonstrate that it is in fact a true statement that God punished humanity with HIV because of homosexuality.
I don't think he did it because of homosexuality. I think he did it for different reasons,
What do you think he did it for?
like adultery.
Do you
Yeah,
think
it
HIV
falls
is a
under the
punishment
same
for adultery?
umbrella.
So wait a minute. Homosexuality is not just all sexual sin. So did God give us HIV for sexual sin or for homosexuality?
I think he did it for sexual sins. Like I don't think being
Okay.
gay right now is.
Okay. So then I'm just willing to just go to the basic root of this whole issue. How can we show that it is a true statement that God punished humanity with HIV?
Um, it's common sense, sure.
No,
If
it's not
you
common sense.
if you do
I
things
would
with
like.
another man, if you do things with another man and you get sick from it, I'm guessing that might imply something.
And if you have sex with a woman and you get sick from it, does that imply something?
But you don't commonly get sick. That's the thing.
Yeah,
If you're both
yes, you
clean.
can, but you
But
do.
sir, if you're both clean.
Yes, and if you're both gay and you're both clean, you're fine.
I don't know about
So,
that.
so if anything, we should just promote sexual education and awareness and provide free STD testing for everyone.
I mean, if you wear protection, it shouldn't be a problem. Just like
You
when
should
your
you should
parents.
also get tested because sometimes protection isn't always 100% effective. Sometimes condoms break. Sometimes the medication doesn't work.
Hey,
But
let him
doesn't
finish
mean you
what you're
shouldn't
saying.
try
You
it.
just cut him
Yeah,
off
bro.
like
You
that.
literally. I was making a point and you just cut me off, and I'm nuts.
Because your point is invalid. You said that if you wear a condom, you should be fine, and yet no. Sorry, if just having
I
protection does not mean you will be fine. You
well,
can, but you should go get tested, and you should ensure that
well,
whoever
what
you're
I was trying
engaging
to
with
say
this
was,
with should also be clean as well.
if you wear protection, there shouldn't be a problem,
If you get tested, there shouldn't be a problem.
bro.
So both gay and straight people can get tested and wear protection. So we should be promoting safe sex education and free
To
STD
who?
testing for
To
everyone.
who?
For everyone.
What about children, sir?
God forbid that someone does something to them. Yes, they should be given all the medical attention that they need. Do you disagree? Do you think a child should be assaulted and not have medical access to the
Bro,
doctors to
what are
make
you
sure
I
they're
don't
even,
think you
okay?
ever
bro?
said that. I
You
think you're
are
just
spinning a
lying.
narrative, bro. What are you zapping about?
No,
I did not
you
say
asked
all
me a
that.
question and I'm following your logic. I'm sorry if you don't like where it goes. Maybe have
You
better
just
You were
reasoning.
asked
not
me if,
following his logic. You were just making up stuff.
bro.
No,
Then,
he asked me about if children should
not
have
true.
access to this stuff. And I said if they were
The one that brought
assaulted,
up
they
children, you
should.
pedophile.
Why'd you bring up children, bro?
You did.
You brought up children.
No, you brought up children. You
No,
asked
you
me
brought up
about
children.
kids.
No, you did.
Yeah, you brought up children. You were just twisting his words.
Yeah, don't twist my words. Thank you, Lady
I
Dragon.
mean, you sure think about children a lot.
Yeah.
You might be a pedophile.
You got something you want to say?
No, Pro Debater, you're the one that brought up kids, and I can post this live and show that you're the one that brought up kids.
No,
Post this
I've
live,
been here the whole
numbnuts.
time. He never brought up children. You were the one
You
that brought
brought
up
up that they
children.
should have sex
You're
education.
talking about children getting groomed.
Don, what are you talking about,
No,
bro?
no. My
Go back to the
entire
gay party.
point,
Get
if
out
you
of here,
paid
bro.
attention, was that if children get assaulted, they should have access to medical attention so that they will
You
be
were the one
okay.
that brought that up.
Yeah, that's
Not
true,
me.
but you
Shut
brought
up,
up
Because he
numbnuts.
brought
children.
up children.
I didn't. How did I bring up children?
You did
Because
not bring up
you
You
asked
children.
me
did.
if this
You're the
also
one that's
applies to
talking about
children.
children getting assaulted.
I did not say that.
Yes, you did, and I will
We were
post
talking
this so you
about
can see it.
STDs, and then you brought up children. You brought up children getting STDs. You
Yeah.
little pedophile.
Okay, everybody report the life. He's a pedophile numbnuts. I'm kidding,
Cool.
you're
So
not. I'm
yeah,
joking. Go.
don't you worry, man. I will post this live screenshot, and you can see
Okay.
that you brought
And
up the
could you send
kids.
it to me in my DMs? Could you slide in my DMs? Because I'd love
But
to
wait a
see.
minute. But I really want an answer to this question. Are you telling
Okay.
me that if a child gets assaulted and ends up with an STD, that it is the wrong position to hold, that that child should be able to seek medical attention?
You were the one that brought that up. It was not
Bro, you're
him.
Is
still
that a
talking
I
wrong
don't
about
know
it.
what you're
position to
talking about.
hold? Is that a wrong position to hold?
You're still talking about it.
You really like them children, huh?
Because you haven't
Is
answered the
that a
question,
wrong
numbnuts.
position to hold? Yes or no? It's a yes or no question.
What'd you say? Numbnuts?
Yes or no, if a child gets assaulted and ends up with an STD, do
Yes,
you think
numbnuts.
that they
Yes,
should be able?
obviously. Yes. Yes.
Yes. So why am I getting pushback for that being my position?
Because you brought up little kids when little kids were never part of the conversation.
You brought up
You
kids and
asked
then
me
tried to
about
blame it on
kids.
him.
Yeah, and don't worry, I will tag you both
Well,
in
sir,
this
I'm
live
so
stream.
surprised.
Because
I'm
you didn't
very
brought up
surprised how concerned you are about this topic when you don't even believe in God. So what are the kids to you?
I'm sorry, why does the belief in God have to do with whether I care about kids being okay?
Children of the Big Bang, not children of God, children of the Big Bang.
I don't understand what a God belief has anything to do with me caring that children are okay.
Because your whole TikTok live is about God.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. So again, and you have yet
So
to answer the
no, I'm not
question of
allowed to
how do we
criticize
know that
you, but
God is real?
you're putting your own opinion. I can put my own opinion.
Yeah, that
I think you're
and I
zapping.
never said
None
you
of the
couldn't.
logic of it is sound.
Yeah, you did. You're trying to silence me.
No one once has muted you or tried to silence you, so don't lie. So can you answer the question from the beginning of the live? How do you
No,
know
I
your
already
God is
answered
real?
your question, bro.
No, you just said, it's common sense.
Okay,
We want
just
reason. We want
He never
logic.
said that.
He
Just
said that
ask me.
over and
He
over
did.
again,
Yeah.
dude.
All right, ask me
The
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 question, bro.
lies are incredible. To be
Just ask me the question, bro.
Pedophilia is incredible.
It
no,
is.
pedophilia is
Wow, you think it's
disgusting.
incredible? That's pretty fucked up.
Nah, no. What Lady Dragon is saying is it's incredible how you can talk all this. You think you're a smart guy, but then you like
She said that she was
pedophilia.
incredible. That's fucked up.
Sean, bro, you're not Sean. Come on, bro.
So God exists.
We
How do
don't know
you
you,
know?
bro. How do you know you're not a pedophile?
How do you know God exists? You wanted to bring it back to God? Let's talk about God.
How do you know you're not a pedophile?
Hello. I believe in God, and I have a reason why.
All right, awesome. Yeah. Anyone else who doesn't actually want to stay on topic, I'll
Oh
just
shit,
kick
no
and let's
way.
get to it.
Hi guys.
So, hey guys. All right. So,
What's up?
Lamb Goat, you said you have a reason why you
How
believe
is
in God.
everyone?
Yes, I don't know if you want me to elaborate or.
Yeah. Please. What God do you believe in, and what convinced you that God is real?
I believe
Oh,
in
okay.
Jesus.
Hey, I
Jehovah.
do have a
Jay,
question. Why
Jay,
do
hold
you
on.
not believe in
Jax,
God?
Jax, hold on. Lamb is talking,
Oh, shut up, bro. Let Jax
Okay.
talk.
bro. But we're getting on here, okay? So, Lamb Goat,
All right,
please
go
tell us.
numbnuts.
So I have 3 short stories. I'll try to keep them as short as possible,
As short
like
as you
under a
can.
minute.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So first one being is that this was about 8 years ago, maybe 8 to 10 years ago now. I was walking with 2 friends, a girl who is a guy, a trans man, and a friend named Tyler. And when we were walking home, we all believed in God and we asked God for a sign. And I didn't think anything was going to happen, because I was just like, we were just asking, come on. And
Right.
I looked up in the middle of my friend asking, Ricky, Danielle, but he was Ricky. And he's like, God, if you're there, she's like, God, if you're there, give us a sign. And I was gonna laugh. I was gonna say, like, I thought you didn't believe in God. And all of a sudden, a light appeared in the sky. And I looked up, and it looked like a UFO or something. It was like this light gray football or something with a perfect black circle in the center, and it was surrounded by white fire and blue fire. And I looked at my friends, and they were just fixated like deer in headlights. And I looked back up, and it was still there, and then it just disappeared. And yeah, even shorter, 2 years later, I went outside, and because I asked God, I've been studying couple different religions, and I
Right.
said, God, I need faith. Will you
Everyone,
give me a
everyone.
sign? Show
Jack
me
Crickets
you're
has something
real.
to say.
Last thing,
Hold on.
give me like 10 more seconds, I promise.
All right, I'm
And
sorry, man. I'm sorry. You go.
And I asked God, I said, if you're real, I want you to give me a shooting star so that I know that you're real. And that way I know that, like, you're conscious. And that, like, is there meaning to life? Like, did you actually make us? Like, what's going on here? And I remember the last word I said was, please. And I pointed to the sky, and believe it or not, I saw a shooting star. It wasn't like a comet like last time. It was an orangish, yellowish shooting star, and it went underneath an almost full moon past the horizon in the month of November in Southern California. Now, in my experience, I have noticed that there are people out there that claim that they have experience with God, that they pray and they see these incredible supernatural signs. I didn't believe them, but now I understand why. I think that there is a hidden eye in some mysterious fire. And I believe that God is Jesus. And yeah, that's just me. So I know the Bible doesn't make sense completely, but yeah, and my third and last one has yet to come true. But Israel is going to be destroyed, and God wants me to be there for the rebuilding of Israel. There's something bad's going to happen. And I found this out before the Palestine war between Israel and Palestine. So yeah, if you really want to know the third one, that one's coming soon.
Interesting. I
That was a
definitely want to
very good
circle back
testimony.
to
I
you.
love hearing from believers.
I definitely want to circle back to you, but I do want to let the other new people have a chance to speak. So yes, let's move to Jax, and then we'll
Yeah,
go
God
up to
bless you. I'm
Christ
going to
and
follow
Mags.
you if you want to talk to me later for sure, but I do have to go.
Yeah,
Thank you for listening.
thank you for coming up and sharing. Appreciate it
Uh-huh. Take care.
for sure. Jax, let's. You said you had a question.
Yeah, I do have a question. Why don't you believe in God?
Yeah, I just haven't been convinced that any gods exist. I mean,
I
I
mean, I
actually
guess
haven't
that
even
makes
been
sense.
given a clear definition of what even God is. Some people say energy. Some people say a mind that is all powerful. Some people say a spiritual being. So no one even gives a clear definition of what God is. So I don't even know how to even approach. Do you believe that? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I guess that makes sense. But then
Do you
how did
believe in God?
we like become? That's the other question.
Um, I'm not 100% sure, but maybe there was some sort of God. Maybe there wasn't. But for me, I don't have enough to say one way or another, so I don't. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. I get that.
Awesome. Do you believe in a God?
Yeah, somewhat,
Okay, which
but
God?
like,
Okay. Christ, do you have anything you'd like to add?
No, not at this time. I'm just listening.
For sure. Max, how about you?
So I see that it says freedom equals Christian nationalism.
No, it says freedom over
Or
Christian
freedom
nationalism.
over it. Yeah. I don't believe that. I think that you can find freedom in Christianity. It's the way that people portray it, right? Or the way that people act, right? Because we know you could claim you're a Christian but not really follow what is in the Bible or what God is telling you to do. So I don't really know about that one.
So, if I can explain real quick, the Christian nationalism is a very interesting slice of, I would say, Christianity. Not all Christians, I would say, majority of Christians are not Christian nationals. Christian nationalism is when Christians believe that their nation should be led by biblical law, and that Jesus should be recognized as like the governing force for the nation. And I see that as
Yo,
the
everybody,
taking away of
real
religious
quick,
freedom.
real quick.
Yes.
Frosty Show on YouTube. Capital F, lowercase ROSTY, no space, capital SO.
Okay. And so I see that as a rejection of like religious freedom, freedom of speech and stuff like that. A lot of Christian nationalists, you'll hear say things like blasphemy laws, these people, certain people of certain groups are to be put to death, putting people to death for all kinds of reasons. And I think that I would prefer a nation that has freedom for all, including Christians, versus just a nation that is only freedom for Christians.
So what I got out of
There
that
ain't
is that
nothing
you're a
wrong with
pedophile.
that. Okay? If you steal
okay,
and you get punished for it, there ain't nothing wrong with it.
I do have another question, real quick.
Okay.
What is your opinion on like gay riots?
As opposed to what? Just them existing? I think that they should have the
Yeah,
same rights
like,
as everyone else. They should be allowed to exist, to have marriages, have families, and as long
but
as
what
you're
if they're
not
like
hurting
trying
anyone
to
else, who
like, what if
cares?
they're like trying to push it onto you? Like, they want like they have like they want to do things with you, and like then you don't, and then like when you get like the feeling like that.
Yeah, I don't condone anybody trying to go after anybody in any way that they don't consent to.
You
Yeah,
sound like a pedophile right
I'm
now.
just gonna let him troll you.
Yeah, are you going
Honestly, I
to
feel
add
like gay rights are
anything that
wrong. That's all I'm
is
gonna say.
good to the conversation?
but I mean, I get what you're saying with the Christian nationalism, with the Christian nationalism part.
Yeah.
But like I said, those are people trying to impose what they're doing. Because even if you look at Jesus, right, he didn't force people to follow him. They followed him because they wanted to. I don't know. I feel like I get what you're saying, but those are people using that to get an
You're a
advantage. If you
pedophile.
get what I'm saying. Do you get what I'm
Atheist.
saying?
You're an atheist pedophile.
Who is this little kid on the... Okay,
Yeah,
anyway.
they're just gone.
Because I'm
So
actually trying to be serious.
yeah, no, I
Yeah.
know, and I appreciate you coming up to try to take this seriously, which is why I like having this conversation with you. But so basically my position is that I would like to live in a nation that is freedom for me as a non-Christian and freedom for you as a Christian. and that both of us are protected, as opposed to a nation that only protects the Christian as opposed to me. Does that make sense? And is that something you think you could agree with?
Yes, I do actually agree with that, because that's actually the way Christ was, right? He didn't force none of his followers. They were the ones that followed him because they wanted to, right? And he didn't say that, and he didn't hate on the people that didn't follow him. So yeah, I would agree with that.
Then why does it happen today?
Because that's how people
No,
who don't
that's
generally
not.
take what Jesus was teaching them to
So
to
force it on, to
actual
force it onto
literal.
others.
Yeah, they don't take what Jesus said, right? Because nowhere did Jesus say you have to force others to follow him. So if they're doing that, that means they're not really following what
Then why
Jesus
were
was
you
teaching.
proselytizing in the chat just moments ago?
With what? With saying the science proves a creator?
Yeah.
Because it does.
No, it doesn't.
It does. If
It
you
doesn't.
actually
There's no
hold on.
evidence.
Well, hold on. Let's
E-
let her try. Let's let her
Go ahead.
explain how she believes it does.
Yeah, so I used to be an atheist, actually. I was an atheist since I think I was about like 14 when I turned into atheism. Yeah, so I get it. I get the whole, oh, there's not enough evidence for God, or I feel like there's not enough evidence, when there's actually is a lot of evidence of a creator through science, because I've always loved science. Science is always, I just love science, like
Yeah,
looking
but
into it,
we know that
researching it.
science doesn't
But
disprove or prove a creator. We know that.
actually, it does point to a creator. If you
No,
look
it
at
doesn't.
biology, hold on, let me explain how. Biology, for example, DNA. DNA is one of the biggest pointers to a creator
No.
because of the code. Yes, it is. It's a
No, the code
code.
has nothing
Yes,
to do with a God.
hold on, let me finish. You didn't even let me explain
Because
how it
this is
does.
already wrong. It's misinformation.
How is it
You're
wrong?
lying.
How is it wrong? Explain to me how is it wrong if you
There's
didn't
no
even hear
there's no
my
creator
explanation.
code.
But go ahead.
There's no creator code.
I never said it was a creator code. I said the
But you're saying
coding of
the letters
DNA.
of DNA.
Yes, that can't just come out of nothing, right?
Yes, what? It does nothing
When
comes out of nothing. What are you talking about?
exactly. So clearly
Yeah, so where
that
did God
code
come from?
had to have been.
Where did
God
God
has
come
always
from?
existed. God
Okay,
has
where did
always
God come
existed.
from?
God has always existed.
So
He's
something can't
He's
come from nothing,
eternal.
though.
No, he didn't come from anything because he's always been here.
So where did he come from, though? Because in creationism, a God has to have a God.
No, it doesn't, because
Yeah,
God
that's
is
how this
not.
works. Because
Okay.
if something creates something, so there has to be a something before that. That's how creationism works.
No, so that's not how it works for God, though, because God is
Well, how
not the
would you know? Do
created.
you know God personally?
The Bible helps us understand God. And the
But it
Bible says
doesn't.
that God is an eternal being. So, yes,
It
he
also
has
says
always
that
been
God
here.
is the Lord of evil and good. Oh, I'm sorry, the Creator.
Well, he has always been here. So, you can't
But
say
there's
God
no
has been
proof of it.
created when
But that's just your
I
words.
mean,
There's no
So,
proof.
all
You
right,
haven't
all right.
given me
Let
a
me jump in here
mathematical
real quick
equation.
because I don't have too long before I have to get back into work. But so Mags, you said that DNA you believe is a code that shows that there is a creator. Is that
that yes, because when we look at coding, right, with even just with programming a computer and coding, it didn't just get there, right? That someone had to program those codes in it,
so? So
right?
when it comes to our DNA and the quote unquote coding of it, like when it's all laid out, especially like numbered out and stuff, that's stuff that we have assigned to it. We have labeled it out this way. We have mapped out the DNA strand to to or the way that we teach it. It's not that it is a computer code, and it's still something that we had to show that there is that quote unquote coder to make DNA, and we have never been able to show that there has been anything that has been able to make just natural DNA like that. Um, Therefore, I don't know how we can say that that is evidence that something made this.
Well,
Not
no,
to
the reason
mention
it can hold
if
on,
the code.
the reason it is shown that it's because the only reason I brought it up and brought up programmers was so you can understand that when you're coding something, right, when you're programming something, there has to be a programmer. It can't have just the code can't just pop into existence out of
Well,
nowhere.
well,
Someone
That's
had to
exactly what
put it.
God did. God just popped into
No,
existence out of
God
nowhere.
didn't. God has always been
Let,
there.
let's let
That's
Christ
the
before
Where's the
Jesus.
So
nearest
Zeus and
pizzeria?
Hades and all those other gods that are in existence and cultural existence have always existed there.
All right, let's let
Every
Christ before
god that's
Jesus
ever been
respond because
created
he
by
tried to
human
say something.
beings.
Let's let Christ before Jesus respond, and then we'll let Derek John respond, and then we'll go back to the top here.
I mean, really quick to Calmy's point, that's more or less what you're saying. You're saying that it wasn't there and God made it there all of a sudden. So you're just kind of inserting something into the picture, which is God. And in your instance, yes, there would be nothing and then all of a sudden something. You're just saying that the difference between something and nothing is God, like the catalyst.
Yes, because
Okay.
God is that something, right? That has always been. Yes.
So in this
Yes.
particular case, what I'm saying is something would be DNA, and what I'm saying is nothing would be no DNA. And you're saying something does come from nothing, but because I'm appealing to God.
No, so it's not nothing. So God is not nothing.
No,
Just like
actually
the program.
it does.
Hold
In
on, let me.
Genesis 1, it says that
I'm
there was
not.
a void and there was
Oh my
nothing
gosh.
there.
Is this God of the
Yeah,
gods versus
so-
Pascal's wager?
No, it's not. So the reason
According to
that you can't say it's that because, for example, even with the programmer, right? Before there was the
Programmer has
programmer.
parents, though.
Yes, and where do those parents go? You can go infinitely
And it goes
back and
further
see that
back
there
and
was
back and back.
exactly.
So that means that a god has to have a creator.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, because a programmer needs parents.
Oh my gosh. Anyways, as I was saying.
It's really sad when radical religious nonsense gets pushed like this.
Well, it's not radical because
yes, it's very radical because you're misconstruing fact to fit your beliefs.
No.
It's a god of
So
the
you
gaps
can
fallacy.
So you can look into
yes.
Okay,
Just
can you please be quiet? Can you please be quiet and let me talk? Anyway,
if
you look back,
Please, let's try to have a back and forth for the last
please
4
let
minutes.
me talk. Anyways, thank you. So as I was saying, if you even these are actual scientists, so you're not a scientist, so of course I'm not going to listen to what you have to say. Stephen Myers, you can look into I just said it, Stephen Myers, because you keep interrupting me. He is a scientist. He actually went to the University of Cambridge, so I'm going to listen to him over you. Thank you.
Right.
Anyways, as I was saying, so these are actual scientists that are because
religious
what people think
damages the
what people think is that people think that science and Christianity, right, and science and religion can't go together, even though the founders of a lot of these and you could say the same thing to the scientists that don't believe in God. You could say that they're also biased.
90%
but
of scientists
as I
don't
was
believe
saying,
in God.
can I talk? Seriously, like
well, it's just sad
you
that
need
you're
you need some restraint. You need
misinformation.
some decorum.
I don't
Anyways,
give a fuck, honestly. I'm not going to let you just misconstrue
obvious you don't. It's very obviously you don't.
Yes.
So
I don't like misconstruing
you're making a fool out of
feelings,
yourself. But anyways, no, it's your feelings. It's your feelings.
It is a spiritual pipe dream that you wish happened,
feelings.
but it doesn't exist. And it's
you
really
realize
hard
I was
for
just
people
like you.
to
I
come
used
to
to be
that
an
realization
atheist.
because it's scary grasping
You realize
reality
I used to be an atheist,
and saying
right?
that death is beautiful. Death is a
Did
beautiful
you
thing. I'm
realize
sorry
that I
that's
used to
the
be
last line
atheist?
you got.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with death. There's nothing scary about death.
With death, but there's
even when I
after
was, that's your belief. I don't know where
it's
you're
not
getting.
a belief. There is no
it is.
evidence that says
actually,
there's anything
there is
after death.
NDEs. I don't know if you've heard of near-death experiencers. So they actually are showing.
That
yes,
has
it does.
nothing
Those
to
people
do
have actually
with
been
anything.
clinically. Hold on. Yes, it
anything.
does. Yes, it does. The reason
No,
it does is
doesn't.
those people have been pronounced clinically
It is a fact
dead.
that the brain
right?
shows
Those
memories
people
for 3
have
minutes.
been pronounced clinically dead. Okay,
Oh,
no brain activity,
the
right?
scientists.
No
Yeah.
heartbeat, right?
No,
and these people, yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's not misinformation. You guys
it's the
don't
brain
know.
activity that is actually
No
causing
brain
the
activity.
NDE.
No,
That
there's
is
no
a
brain
lie.
activity.
There
No,
is
it's
no
not
one
a
who's
lie.
come back from
Yes,
zero brain
yes,
activity.
yes, they have. Yes,
No.
they have. I don't know
No,
if you've
they
heard
haven't.
of. Hold on. I don't know if you've heard of Dr. Eben Alexander, right? He was actually a neuroscientist. So prior to this, he was very skeptical, and just like most scientists are, there's skeptic in it.
Google Scholar
And
can really disprove
as
a
I
lot
was
of this
saying,
shit right here.
yeah, and Google can also disprove
Google Scholar.
what you're
Google
saying.
Scholar.
Anyways,
which has these,
I'm sorry. I only have a couple minutes left, but I think we can really hit a point on this NDE thing. I think Christ before Jesus and I are on the same point, but I want to hear your point on this before we respond.
Thank you. I appreciate you, host, because that guy, he just wouldn't let me speak at all. It's kind of rude. But what I was saying is that no. So I used to think that too, right? Because I used to be very skeptical of NDEs, and I was like, maybe it's just the brain still having no. These people have actually ran, right? I forget what it's called, the one that monitors the brain activity, right? They can see there is no brain activity when these people are gone, right? There's no brain activity. There is no heartbeat, right? So they are pronounced clinically dead, okay? And some have even been from, I think, 5 seconds to the longest, I think, was an hour and so on. So a lot, that's enough to have actual brain damage. So irreversible to where when you come back, you'll be in a vegetable state. But these people actually come back still remembering, having actual vivid remembrance, as well as having accounts of seeing things and hearing things happening in the operating room, right? So I've actually been studying NDEs. So this is how I know.
Wait a minute, just so that we don't get too far.
Yeah.
Very quickly. You're saying that we can measure that through NDEs, their heartbeat stops and there is no brain activity, correct?
Yes, there's I forgot the name of the actual brain monitor that monitors brain activity.
It's okay.
There's a
We
specific
understand
name,
what you're describing. But Christ before Jesus, would you like to respond to that?
Yeah, so the book in specific from Dr. Alexander, it's bunk, and it's been debunked because he's a neurosurgeon, not a neurologist. He has to understand the anatomy of a brain, but not the function of a brain. It was roundly debunked by neurologists, people who actually study the function of the brain. Look at the DMT that's released during an NDE. Actual neuroscientists, not neurosurgeons, have been able to roundly, confidently debunk this book. There is not a single case of anybody coming back from zero brain activity. That is not possible. At that point, that is when you are clinically dead. We used to think it was when people stopped breathing. Then we found out it's the heart. But then over time, we realized that it's just brain activity.
Yeah, so what I'm saying
there's no case of that ever happening.
So I want to know which neuroscientist in particular debunked Dr. Eben Alexander, so I can
Sam Harris.
Sam Harris. Okay, I don't know much about him, but I'll look into.
Neurologist and writer Oliver Sacks agreed with Harris and argued that Alexander had failed to recognize that the experience could have been the result of his cortex returning to full function at the outset of his coma. So DMT is released as you slowly fade away, and that is not brain death. That's happening right before brain death. DMT is released in the brain to more or less calm you, and that's when you will have hallucinations. DMT causes hallucinations.
Yes, but the reason I wouldn't fully agree that it's hallucination, I'll look into that Sam Harris.
No, that's exactly what DMT does.
Hold on. Let me finish my point because I heard you out. I'm going to look into Sam Harris. I don't know much about Sam Harris, but I'm going to look into him because I didn't know about that. But
and you said Oliver Sacks too, right? Was that the other?
Yeah, and both.
Oliver Sacks.
Yeah. So the reason that I don't, it's not a hallucination because they've actually had people who have had hallucinations and they've asked them and they've seen the differences, right? So there is a difference between an NDE experience and a hallucination. There is a difference. Okay. So they're not the same type of thing. So it's not a hallucination when they're having.
What I said whatsoever.
Hold on. You're saying that
you are misrepresenting what I said.
You're saying that the DMT that's releasing
what I said, and I'm not going to stand for that.
Well, you did say
that. Stand for that. You need to understand.
What you said.
No.
Yes.
What I said is that DMT causes hallucinations. Are you aware as to what DMT is?
Yes, I know what DMT is.
What is it?
It is a drug that's in your brain that does release. Yes, but I'm trying to tell you that NDE, there's a difference.
NDE that is a near-death experience. That's not a guaranteed hallucination necessarily. What I'm saying is that
it's guaranteed.
As DMT releases, as that chemical releases in your brain, it causes hallucinations. People who take DMT in and of itself just while they're alive, awake and sober, and then they take it, they can remember those hallucinations because they're incredibly vivid.
But they are not the same. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You're trying to make it seem like having a hallucination, right? And I still want to know where they're getting this information that the reason these people are having these experiences is specifically due to the DMT being released. I want to know
because people
what
who actually
studies
study the function of the brain are able to check it.
And there's also people that are studying NDEs, right? Not just people studying brain activity, but people. Neurologists as well.
No.
Not every. Okay, so where are you getting this information from?
So your claim that NDEs and everything like this are this real thing that is not a hallucination.
It is real.
Yeah. Okay. NDEs technically are real, but like a near-death experience can be real in the sense that you almost died. Yes.
No, the experience as well, not just them being pronounced clinically dead.
No neurologist is going to agree with what you're saying.
But okay,
neurologist is going to agree with what you're saying.
You're not a neurologist, so I'm not going to listen to your word and what you have to say about what you think.
I don't know what I do for a living.
Well, okay, are you a neurologist?
I'm not even going to disclose that now that you've run your mouth and shown your ignorance.
No,
ultimately,
because I know that you're not.
In specific studies the function of the brain.
Anyways, let's not be like that. I mean, I'm trying to have a genuine conversation.
You're misrepresenting what I'm saying, and you're showing a lack of unintelligence when it comes to this particular topic.
No, you're showing a very closed-minded, narrow-minded view on what you think NDEs are based on a few neurologists that you have read, right? And I haven't looked into those neurologists that you mentioned.
Read it and you
Sam
haven't
Harris.
Looked into it, and I'm the one who's closed-minded?
No, I haven't read on those neurologists that you're talking about.
Cool. So
you mentioned Sam Harris and Oliver. Who?
What neurologist have you read?
I've read multiple studies.
Name one.
If you look into INs, right?
Yeah, name one neurologist. Not a neurosurgeon like you named earlier. Name a neurologist.
No, the reason I mentioned Dr. Eben Alexander is to show you a person who has been skeptical. Right? I didn't say that he was one actually studying NDEs because clearly he didn't even believe in it. I said he didn't. I mentioned him to show the skepticism. Then when he experienced it, right? And actually, if you read into his story, yes, the doctors did tell him he has a very small chance of coming back and actually having any type of function. They thought he was going to be in a vegetable state. So the fact that he came back and was still able to remember anything and, he had a little bit of amnesia, but he came back pretty able to function and still remembering. So that's why I mentioned him, not to say, he proved that. No, that's I'm showing you a person that was skeptical of it that had that experience. That's why I mentioned him, not saying that he was a neuroscientist that actually knows about. No, that's not what I said. So I don't know how you got that from.
So
why
then you just brought it up just to kind of say it, and it wasn't actually.
No,
making a
I
point.
brought it up to show the NDE because you were saying prior, you were saying that NDEs have been proven to be just DMT and hallucinations.
I didn't say that prior to you bringing up the book.
Well,
I said that in response to you bringing up the book.
Well, someone said it was just hallucination and product of the dying brain.
I said those words, but that was a response to you bringing up the book.
No, someone said it prior, and that's why I mentioned that. No, this was someone who was actually skeptical, and their brain didn't have activity. They actually can measure the brain activity at that time, right? So that can actually be measured. So I don't know where. And I'm definitely gonna look into that Sam Harris. Is it an article or what was it? A video? Or,
yeah, it would have been a peer-reviewed book review on that.
And you read the book.
That and particularly looking at the case there of the doctor who wrote the book. That being said, the entire point is that he wasn't actually brain dead. He's claiming to be brain dead, but he wouldn't be brain dead. And the fact that he's not a neuroscientist or a neurologist is specifically why they're saying he is wrong, because he's saying something that he doesn't really know about.
You realize that the doctors did tell him, right?
You mean
people were
neurosurgeons?
actually,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
because
that's their
procedure
argument,
had
is that
to
he's a
do with
neurosurgeon,
his
and
brain.
the people working on him would have been neurosurgeons.
Yes, and the brain was at the time, because he had a bacterial infection, right? That was going on in his brain, which was causing fluid in his brain. So it did have to do with his brain. So that is why.
I imagine it would have to do with his brain, but there's never been one reported case of coming back from absolute brain death. There's literally been no case which has ever been reported or proven.
Well, there's been a lot of cases of there's been a lot of cases where there hasn't been brain activity, though. So how could they have possibly came back and remembered, right? And also came into detail about what was going on either the operating table, what people were saying, right? Because
so that's inaccurate.
No,
brain
those
death
are accurate.
is when there's zero activity. There's not a single case where that has ever happened.
So Max, can you give us?
So how long have you
give
been?
us a study or a paper that outlines and details someone
Yes,
experiencing
you can
zero
actually,
brain death and gives the actual evidence for it? And
well,
then
you
coming
can
back?
actually look. I don't know how much.
You can just Google as simple as "can you come back from brain dead?" and it will tell you straight up no.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
you can look into NDEs if you want to.
I have
NDE is a near death. It's literally not death.
I never said it was.
No, I know, but you're saying there's no brain activity. No brain activity means you're brain dead, which means you're gone. There's no coming back from that. You're using two things that are not the same thing. And I know it makes you sound smart, but an NDE is not the same as zero brain activity.
Oh my gosh. So, okay.
It's just not the same. You're using two phrases as if they're synonymous, but they're not.
Well, you realize when the person is gone, right? So they're either on the operating table and there's
gone
showing,
as
right?
in what?
Gone as in no heartbeat, right? So
that's
flatlined.
That's not.
Okay, let me finish.
Now you're moving the goalpost again.
Calm down, relax. There's no
well,
heartbeat.
Explain it
right?
in a way that we're able to use the same terminology.
Okay, so no heartbeat, and also their brain activity is very much they can't
like
see
zero?
it. Well, I don't know about zero, but very low.
So
to
very
the point
low.
where it shouldn't, the parts of the brain that do function that cause those types of experiences, unless you can prove that those types of vivid experiences can still happen on a low and very small, right, activity. So
that's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay, so where are you getting this information that is the case?
Neurologists. That's exactly what they're arguing against what this guy said. They're saying when you have low brain activity, which means you're plummeting towards an absolute zero, that is when DMT is released. That doesn't mean that you're dead. Being close to zero is not dead. That means that there's a really slim chance of you coming back, but you can. And that's exactly what happened with this guy.
They do. That's
why. But that's not being dead.
I never said they're 100% dead. When did
You said there was zero brain activity. That is exactly what you said. And that would be dead.
Very low and no heartbeat.
Right.
So that's what we pronounce as clinically dead.
A little bit, and that would be correct. That's not dead.
No, that is what doctors pronounce as clinically dead. When they say, "Oh, there's no pulse, there's no heartbeat," yes, it is. Yes,
that is not at all what they say is dead.
So when someone is checking to see if you're dead, they're looking at the heartbeat, right? The pulse.
When they're checking your pulse initially, but that's not when they call it.
And the point is, yes,
that is not when they call it.
They have called it.
It is not actually.
Actually, that's not true, because when people are put into ambulances, right, and they check for those indicators, because I can actually say this because there has been people who have had NDEs who have been put into body bags, right, but then they still have been they came back. So the point is, yes, these people are near it, very on the road. We know that. I'm not saying that these people are completely dead and gone. I've never said that. You're
No,
the
you
one that's
said
making.
zero brain activity, and you didn't
That
know
doesn't
that
mean I
that
said
meant
that
dead.
these people are 100% dead.
But
I
zero
never
brain
said that.
Okay.
activity
You are
equals
putting
dead.
that on. Okay, no,
It means the same thing. You are dead if you have
no,
zero
that's your
brain
assumption.
activity.
You're making that assumption that I'm saying that means that they're completely gone and dead.
No,
I
I
just
know
said that there
you're
wasn't
the
activity, enough
entire
activity.
point. The entire point that I'm making here is that ultimately you use the phrase zero brain activity, and
Hold
then
on,
you tried to say that you're not saying dead, but that is what dead is.
Well, clinically, that's what they're pronouncing him. It's clinically dead. Yeah.
Because they're dead. If you have zero brain activity, you are
If you
dead.
have, yeah, that's correct. If you have zero brain
And you don't
activity, you're
come
dead.
back from that. If you can have, and as Christ before Jesus was saying, you can be very close to zero, but close to zero is not zero, which means you have very low, you do have some brain activity, and that is the
Well,
NDEs. You come back
I.
from that. But once you
Yeah,
hit
all
zero, you're
But it's
dead,
a
NDEs
and it's
are
very
low
final.
brain activity.
small chance, and they are still
Sure.
coming back. Is what I'm trying to say.
Sure,
But
but
small
no one
chance
has come
still
back from
makes
zero.
And
there's
they
a
are not
chance.
just coming back, right? They're not just coming back with, some are coming back saying they don't, because not everyone has an NDE when they experience near death. Not everyone has the
Sure.
actual experiences. That's what I'm trying to say. But these people that are coming back that do have these experiences, not only are they just having these experiences with a low activity on the mind, none of the brain, they're also coming back with detail that has been confirmed. These are confirmed by doctors and other people of things being said or done on the operating room when this person has that low activity, right? Or close to basically zero and no heartbeat. So they flatlined. And these people are still able to say what was said, who was in the room, and what they're wearing. How could that have possibly have happened? Just based off, that's what I'm saying. It's not the same thing as a hallucination. Hallucinations, they actually can find the differences between someone who's having an NDE and a hallucination. There is a difference there. So people that are actually studying NDEs, I don't know how much Sam Harris has actually looked into NDEs or all that. I have to look into Sam Harris actually.
You really should look into Sam Harris.
Thank you. Yeah, I will. I will. I'm actually open-minded to new information. But the people who actually study NDEs and the experience of the NDE, not just the person that's near death, because like I said, not everyone that's near death is actually going to have the experience. But the people that are actually looking into this, that's one thing that they see, that there is a difference. Because tell me, how else is a person able to have recollection of that? That's what I want to know. And that's why I even brought up NDEs to begin with, because they show us that we should look into that as well to see how is that even possible? How are these people able to have this recollection? And that's why I mentioned Dr. Evan Alexander too, because they actually said he has it, and you're right. Yeah, they have a very small chance of coming back. They're not completely gone. I never said they are 100% dead. You got that based off of me saying that
did
there's
though when you said
almost
zero brain
zero.
activity.
Yeah,
Okay,
you
but
didn't
I'm
know
not
that you
saying
said dead, but you said it.
you're putting that means I said
But
that they're dead. And
Yes.
because it means the
no.
same thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
you didn't
Is
know that that's what
But
you were saying, but you were talking to people who
Well,
know that
that's
that's what that
not what I
means.
meant. Okay, so
okay.
Well,
I'm
how
not
do we
saying
know
that.
what you mean if
Here,
you say something
Well,
that
am
means
I not
dead?
clarifying that now? Clearly I am, so there's no need to keep bringing that up because
Yeah,
that's not what
after
I meant.
arguing for like 25 minutes based on something that you didn't know meant something else.
Well,
If you had
that's
already known
not what
prior
I
to
meant,
opening
so.
your mouth, we wouldn't have had that problem.
Well, there's a lot of things you don't know. Did you
Right,
know that
and I
these
go and
people
look them
come
up
back?
before I try to
Yes,
argue
you
with someone else who
should.
knows it.
Yeah, but you are. You're trying to argue with me.
Because you don't know it.
Yes, I do. I actually am looking into
No,
this and
you
studying.
used the wrong phrase
You're
for
not.
25 minutes,
Anyways,
and now you're
thank
trying to
you.
move the goalpost again to claim that you
No,
actually knew it.
no, I do.
Yeah,
All right,
good
all right, all right,
job.
all right, guys.
You're
I
dumb,
do.
and you
It
seem
is time. It
very
is time for me to get
sensitive.
off. But
I'm not
Anyways,
I
sensitive.
think what we
You're
you
covered
just
are.
here.
really dumb, and it's
No,
funny to me.
you're
All right,
sensitive. It's
all right,
okay.
you guys. I do have to get going, but I think what we've
But
covered
I
here
do
is
recommend you
that.
guys look more into NDEs. You can go to iens.com and actually research NDEs and the characteristics that make up an NDE experience.
Right.
And people from different parts of the world have it. Millions of people are having NDEs also because since we have figured out ways to bring people back, right? Ever since that has gone up, so has the experiences of NDEs, but they're not new. But yeah, people have been studying this since the 70s or earlier. So you can actually look more into that. And not every neurologist, I'm 100% sure, agrees with Sam Harris on what he thought happened or whatever he believes. So, but I'll look into Sam Harris. Thank you for bringing that up because I didn't really know much about him, but. I'm willing
Thank you,
to. Yeah,
Max.
no
Christ before
problem.
Jesus. If you have a quick closing statement, go for it. And then,
No, I'm good. I'm
all right.
good.
Well, thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for having this conversation about NDEs and the
Thank you
God and
for
all that.
hosting this, host.
Yeah. Again, thank you guys for your time. Thank you, everyone in the comments, for being here. I'll be on probably some point tomorrow, but it's time for me to get to work. So
Thank you
take
very
care.
much, man. Happy to be here.